Ever feel like the housing market around here has a split personality lately? One week, buyers are flooding in. The next, crickets. Well, you're not imagining it. Here in northern Colorado, we're watching a fascinating shift. Inventory is climbing. Days on the market are stretching. But prices in some areas are still climbing as well. So, what does that mean if you're thinking about buying or selling? Are we cooling off or just catching our breath before the next surge? In this video, I'm breaking down the latest numbers from August, including where prices are rising, where they're slipping, and how mortgage rates are shaping demand. Fort Collins is holding strong at $571,000 median price, while Greeley's dipped just under $415,000. Homes are sitting about 50 to 60 days on market now, nearly double what we saw during the frenzy. And active inventory has jumped to over 1,000 listings in Fort Collins alone. That's giving buyers real negotiating power, especially as rates hover in the mid-sixes. I'm Mark Powell with Osborne Home Group and eXp Realty, and I'm here to make sense of the chaos so you don't have to. Let's dive in. First up, inventory. This is where we've seen the biggest shift from last year. Fort Collins has about a little over 1,000 active listings. Loveland is around 574, and Longmont is sitting at about 525. A year ago, we were scraping bottom with half that amount, some of these areas. More listings on the market means buyers finally have choices again, which is cooling the competition and slowing down the bidding wars we saw back in 2021 and 2022. Now let's talk prices, because this is where things get interesting. Fort Collins is holding strong at about $571,000, up 7.9% year over year. Loveland is sitting right around $500,000, which is basically flat, just about 1% year over year. Greeley has actually dipped a bit to $414,000, down 1.8%, which is great news if you're shopping in that entry-level price range. And Longmont has climbed to $585,000, up about 5.4% year over year. So what we're seeing is a split. The more affordable markets like Greeley are softening a bit, while the mid to upper tier areas like Fort Collins and Longmont are still appreciating. That's a sign that demand hasn't disappeared. It's just becoming more selective. Next, let's look at how fast homes are actually selling. Right now, the average home is taking about 51 days in Fort Collins, 61 in Loveland, 53 in Greeley, and 51 in Longmont to go under contract. That's nearly double the speed we saw during the peak time, when homes were flying off the market in a week or two. And sales volume reflects that slowdown. Fort Collins saw 186 closings in August, down 5.6% year over year. Greeley had 100 closings, down 13.8%. Loveland held steady with about 105. And Longmont actually rose a bit to 127 closings, up 7.6%. So buyer demand is still there. It's just more measured, and buyers are being more picky about what they write on offers. Now, you can't talk about today's market without talking about mortgage rates. The 30-year fixed averaged about 6.56% at the end of August, and it slipped slightly into the mid 6.3% range in September. It's not the eye-popping 8% that we saw late last year, but it's also nowhere near the 3% buyers were spoiled with back in 2021. What this means in real terms? Buyers are still very payment sensitive. Homes that are priced well and move-in ready are selling, while overpriced or dated homes are just sitting. And this is exactly why we're seeing so many sellers offering rate buy downs or closing cost credits to attract buyers. It's a tool you should absolutely be using if you're selling right now. So, what does this all mean if you're planning to buy or sell? We're in a balanced market right now, not the wild sellers market of 2021 and not the frozen buyers market of late 22. Buyers, you finally have choices and time to negotiate. This is your window before rates dip further and competition ramps back up. Sellers, pricing right is everything. You can absolutely still get top dollar, especially in Fort Collins and Longmont, but it has to be strategically priced and professionally presented from day one. And remember, every local market is hyper specific. A condo in Greeley is not the same as a single family in Timnath. That's why having local guidance really matters right now. If you're thinking about making a move or just want to know what your home is worth in this shifting market, I'd love to help you run the numbers. I'm Mark Powell with Osborne Home Group and eXp Realty, and I'll help you navigate this market with confidence. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real estate tips. See you next time.